Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I've got a summary of one of the Quantum Vegas panels for you today where Tyler Witkin and Sandi Roberts from CIG talked about some of the most rewarding parts of community management, challenges, frustrations, communication, stuff like that. Some stuff that is core to the Star Citizen experience and the way they're evolving the game. Zyloh, Tyler Witkin, the community manager, said he loved his job, hadn't originally aimed for community management, went into QA at CIG as a stepping stone. His manager suggested him for the role as he was very community focused even back then. He worked at Blizzard for 5 years previous to that. He said the most rewarding part of his work now is the impact of what they've done with the community, what the community has become. Bar citizens are great, the community is awesome there, and he very much enjoys going to them. Typical day for what he does. Every day is different with community management. Community is everything, feedback's essential. They get involved with all aspects of the game, including marketing. Communication, they try to engage with the community as much as possible. Inside Star Citizen, monthly reports, roadmaps, dev responses, and they try to arm the community with tools like the progress tracker and telemetry stuff and forums, patch notes, everything like that that supports players and in their playing of the game and understanding the game. And obviously they got their support pages, the status pages. He did go on to say that open development, though, is a double-edged sword. Benefits are real-time feedback. The community feels like an extension of the team, and you can use them as resources for that purpose. Game development is hard, though. There are setbacks, challenges, failures are sometimes in the spotlight, where in other developments, players wouldn't even be aware of some of the problems that were going on until they were already solved. Quicker turnarounds on patches can lead to shallower feedback as well. Doing everything for real at things like CitizenCon can be difficult for them as well. They can have crashes and issues. It's all sort of real. It's happening then. They could pre-record when they do like their Squadron 42 live demos and things like that, but they want lofty goals. They want to push the boundaries. They want players to know that the stuff they do is more authentic, I suppose. He talked about backer frustration. The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy, and they don't want anyone to be apathetic with the game. If someone's angry about a feature or an issue, it's typically because they're invested in the game or its direction. They care about it. Constructive feedback with features and bugs really helps with Star Citizen. They listen, they want to know what's going on, they want to know how they can fix it, they want to know what other people think. As long as a frustrated backer is concisely explaining an issue, it's super useful to CIG, and they may act on it, and it can be sort of more impactful to the project. They want people playing the game and not to be silent. Apathy would be the worst situation for them. If a backer's cap lock key is broken and they're having a bad day, Zyloh will have to try and work out how they can make their feedback constructive for them, if at all. So the more concise you can be without being angry, the better. He talks a little bit about how to get into community management, the games industry, CIG. He said, put yourself out there, become a mod for a stream, or apply for a QA job. There was then more of a focus on Sandi Roberts. She's co-founder of CIG, and she was there from the beginning. Her and Chris are married, and they live together, and she did all the marketing and some of the community stuff in the beginning. She is a board member and is still in marketing now and assists with that. The community is a big highlight for her. She basically praises them as the reason that the project exists in the way that it does. And that project, it was a lot more than she expected, going from the prototype to what it is now. The sort of original pitch being create your own destiny in the stars, you do what you want to do. So they pitched it to other people originally, and they said space games are dead, they didn't get it, and they decided to do it themselves and crowdfund it, and that seems to have worked. She talks about working at CIG. It's a lot of fun, it's more than a job, lots of gaming as well going in there that helps influence the direction of the game. They need to play Star Citizen a good amount. Sandi's vision for the community is a big reason for it being successful, she thinks. She used to respond to support tickets. The community team is shaped by this, but it's that community focus that's defined the game and the last decade of development. So Sandi's been involved with a load of stuff at CIG, sort of presenting around the verse. She's been in the Empire Report, sort of like a silly little in-law news report. I believe she's in Squadron 42 as Pusher Fell. She genuinely really has helped shape the community. Feedback before marketing. So they talked a bit about this. Player relations, player experience team, community management team, marketing teams, they all work together. The stakes and scope are massive now with Star Citizen compared to their early days. Sandi and Chris live together, they're married, so they constantly talk about Star Citizen. She supports his vision of the game. It's a challenge to align patch progress, development, and ship releases all together, and that's kind of what marketing partly do. They try to maximize the sort of releases with other things like, oh yeah, this ship's going to be ready, bam, sell this ship at the same time, or cool, what are we going to call this patch? They try to map out what they can when they can, but some stuff's just ready when it's ready. They want content and features in players' hands as early as sensible to get the most feedback from them. Marketing might be working on some plans for a ship release when they have time, or as a focus based on what the priority is, but those priorities change. So this is actually quite a big bit of information here. Squadron 42, the release for that approaches, and they got asked a question, do you plan to return to events like GDC or Gamescom or whatever? And Sandi said yes, but they can't disclose. They're looking at a level of presence at events even this year though, some of that being unofficial, maybe something a bit more than that for some things in the not too distant future. So it does sound like they're going to have a proper advertising campaign around Squadron 42. I would like to see a big public trailer of Squadron 42 and Star Citizen and stuff, just sort of smash it at the Game Awards or something. In regards to Star Citizen shows that they'd previously done, Sandi wanted to do a bunch of shows that interacted with the community, and that's sort of the direction they went. Things like Wingman's Hangar, Around the Verse, Reverse the Verse. The only one that sort of wasn't planned was the Next Great Starship. Not actually, I don't actually know what she meant by that. Did it just sort of happen? But they wanted to show off the sausage that's being made and have features and the development of the game being shown off sort of and the process of that. And obviously, as we said earlier, that's kind of a double-edged sword, but has worked amazingly well for them. Star Citizen 1.0, that's not the end of the journey when that's released. This is a many-year game. They said more than 10 years. Star Citizen is like a family. The backers are part of that. They had fantastic time meeting players, and the connections they've all made are super important to them. Bar citizens, they're super welcoming. They love the way that they have evolved as well. They love the fact they can attend these fan events as guests, and often they're put together at quite a professional level. Sandi also talked about the first day of Kickstarter when they originally started sort of crowdfunding for Star Citizen, and Sandi said it was a grey hair moment when their website broke and they decided to also go over to Kickstarter. Food Citizen was apparently tried, but Sandi said it didn't work. They talked through lots of different ideas. Some of them sort of don't work in regards to marketing and what they want to do for shows and that sort of stuff. They talk out even silly ideas though, because they might throw 99 ideas out, but one of them will be a great idea. Also, pineapple on pizza. Sandi isn't convinced by it, and Tyler doesn't discriminate. I'm not a fan. I don't think you're a monster for doing it, though. If you want to have pineapple on pizza, you go right ahead. I just won't eat that pizza. But tell me what you think in the comments below. I will put a link to the original video there as well. Really like sort of dev panels where they're talking about bits and bobs like this, and you can see a bit deeper into some of the mindset of the developers, community managers, stuff like that, and get a bit of a feel for what is coming next. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you want pineapple on pizza? Are you excited for Squadron 42's release next year? And do you assume that it will still be released next year? Something else you should do. Oh, down below there are links to NordVPN. Get yourself some NordVPN with better privacy, security, and accessibility of the interwebs. I use NordVPN. You could use it too. Everyone's getting VPNs. Why? Why not be one of them? Big discounts from the links helps the channel out. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and we're giving away an RSI Meteor, that new medium fighter with lifetime insurance and a gameplay package for Star Citizen. Everything you need to play with a cool fighter and pew-pew some fools. Just comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. Something else that you might like to do is like, share, subscribe to our videos. There's a join button underneath as well. There's Patreon. You give us a little bit of money each month and it helps out the channel immensely. Occasionally we have some exclusive videos. Come to my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer. Also, you should comment on all the videos, not just because of the giveaway, but also because you can give me feedback. And I want to say a massive thank you to the people that have supported the channel via any medium, but genuinely, you guys that go the extra mile to use that join button or Patreon, it is genuinely so appreciated. Thank you so much.